Difficulty in video games is a conversation as old as the quarter dollar. You see, quarters were invented to pay for exactly one round in arcade machines, and arcade machine companies really love collecting quarters. So arcade games were designed to be very difficult so that you keep losing, dying to unexpected enemies, new mechanics, hard platforming sections, and then put another quarter in to keep going. This type of game design emphasizes dual progression, both with the player progressing their skills so they don't go bankrupt every single time they go to the arcade. It's only one quarter at a time, but I'm running out, and to the developer who's progressing the size of their bank account. The difficulty of the game is what keeps you interested. There's no point in replaying an arcade game that you beat the first time. If it's too easy, you'll just find another one that presents more of a challenge. It's not fun to simply steamroll through the entire game in one go, unless you're boring. Companies want you to go ask your mom to take you to the arcade every single Saturday so you can get a little farther in that game this time. You know, you spend another handful of quarters and you get to that next boss, that next stage, that next level. Every week you get a little farther and you keep coming back. Difficulty is what pushes you to get better. That feeling of, I'm so close, if I just have one more try I can figure it out, is exactly the feeling of a perfectly balanced difficulty. You should have to rise to a challenge. You should struggle, scream in anguish, call out to your ancestors for power, but eventually overcome it by increasing your skills and mastering how the game wants you to play. In my opinion, no game accomplishes this balance better than Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. In terms of proper difficulty, I think this is From Software's crowning jewel. It'll introduce a new mechanic to you like the Mikiri counter, and then immediately put a mini-boss in front of you that needs that mechanic to be mastered in order to beat them. This guy destroyed me over and over while I tried to learn the timing for the counter, and when I eventually got it, I felt like I ascended to a higher plane. After dozens and dozens of attempts at trying to figure out the timing and being stabbed by this dude because I got it wrong, I finally mastered it and I was rewarded by beating him, because it's basically an easy kill after that. He's just wide open. From that point on, I never messed up the Mikiri counter again. I had perfect timing every single time, 0 deaths for the rest of the game on that one counter, because I spent my time. I put in my quarters to master that skill, and I ain't going backwards. That's skill progression in a difficult game. Now, my battle with Genichiro lasted over 2.5 hours. Real time. That is USA time. The problem was that I wasn't parrying well enough. He throws so many attacks and strikes at you, you cannot simply dodge this man. You have to learn to parry if you want to beat him. You have to break him, and you do that by parrying. Just like that, I became an expert at parrying. There was no way for me to reasonably beat this fight with my skill set other than learning this move, and that's the point. A well-balanced difficulty is like a carrot dangling in front of you to keep chasing after it, or more realistically, a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos.
Oh yeah!
It makes you want to keep running after it, because you're not you when you're hungry. Oh wait, wrong brand. You keep chasing that Doritos bag because it's just out of reach. You can almost taste it. If it was a mile away, you would not care, because frankly, I don't think you can see a mile away. I can barely see 20 feet away without my glasses on, much less a mile. Proper difficulty is the art of being just hard enough that you can't overcome it without improving yourself, but not so hard that you don't see the path towards that. Otherwise, you'll just get frustrated and leave. Now, roguelikes like Hades base their whole appeal on this. You only have one life to fight your way through the entire Greek underworld. Now, I've never tried that myself in the real world, but let me just say I wouldn't want to bet my one life on it. The first several runs I did in Hades, I died to some random enemy. Then when I figured out how to beat that enemy, I started dying to the first boss. This went on and on and on until eventually I was able to start the game and get my run all the way through and escape the underworld in one go. I knew how many times I died and failed to get to that final point, to where I had the accumulation of knowledge to be able to beat every area. That accomplishment of reaching that goal at the end wouldn't have meant anything to me if I didn't know how difficult the journey was in the middle. Difficult games aren't supposed to be about gatekeeping people from an experience. That's not what it is at all. The difficulty is the experience. Without it, there'd be no reason to master a game's systems or improve your skills, because there's no challenge to rise up to. I don't think every game should be difficult. I love going vegetable mode and just chilling out playing a game when I'm stressed out and tired. If I've had a long day, that is not the time I'm jumping into Dark Souls. But there is no feeling quite like beating that boss you've been stuck on for hours. I don't need anything else when I have
Melania, Blade of Mikola, and I have never known